It is a brisk and beautiful fall morning here in the White Mountains of New Hampshire, and I'm currently on the trail to the summit of Mount Pemigewasset, and I'm here doing some scouting for the fall foliage. And actually, the colors are just starting to change. If you look around here, you might be able to see, especially if you look on the ground, you can see that the yellows and the oranges and the reds are starting to fall. But for the most part, it's still pretty green. So I'm just doing some scouting to prepare for the next week or two as the colors really start to peak and get nice. So I'm again starting out this morning on Mount Pemigewasset, then I'm going to be heading out to a couple other places as well, and hope you guys will enjoy coming along with me for the ride. Well, I'm starting to get pretty close to the top. You can tell because the trees are starting to change. And I wish that I could share the smell with you because it is just perfect. It is a great smell because you have all of these fir trees around here. And when the breeze gets blowing through them, you get that smell. And it smells like Christmas, to be honest. I know it's only September still, actually. It's the end of September, but still, it just smells amazing. I've made it to the summit of Mount Pemigewasset, and it's a little bit windy, but the views are breathtaking. It is absolutely incredible up here, seeing all the mountains and the trees. And if you look down there, you can see that the foliage is just beginning to get some really nice colors in it. You can see some yellows and reds and oranges. Mostly it's still pretty green, but certainly still beautiful and well worth the hike up here today. So I'm gonna enjoy the views a little bit more. I think I earned it coming up here and hang out, maybe take some photos. Then I'm gonna head back down and go on to some other spots today, just checking out and seeing how things look around the White Mountains. I'm back off the trail and I had a bite to eat, and now I'm about to head up to a place called Sugar Hill. And this area isn't really a landscape photography kind of place. It's more like travel or just, I don't know, scenic kind of place. It has farms and little shops and a lot of interesting things around that area. And to me, that's part of fall in New England, so I want to enjoy that too and photograph that as well. So I'm going to drive up around there and see what I can find.
Such a heartbeat pounding in your chest. The final hour before we let it go to rest.
Well, I had a nice drive through Sugar Hill and out in the country. Saw some pretty colors. It's still pretty early out there too. But now I'm at my final stop, which is Falling Waters Trail. And as the name implies, there's a lot of falling water around here. Lots of streams and waterfalls, things like that. And in fact, the thing that I'm headed to see here primarily is called Stairs Falls. And so I'm going to head up there first and see how it looks. And if I have enough time, then on the way back down, I'll check out anything that I thought was interesting on the way up. So that's my plan. We'll see how it all works out, but hopefully the waterfall will have a good flow today. I've arrived at Stairs Falls, and looking at it, it should be pretty obvious why it's called Stairs Falls. But the conditions here are really good, actually. The flow is really strong. We've got some nice swirling leaves down here in the water. There's leaves all along the rocks, and the trees are still pretty green, but there's definitely some color in there. So there's a lot to work with, and I'm actually pretty excited about this. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to it. So while I'm shooting here, I thought I would take a second to tell you something that you might not know. This small little piece of plastic here is actually really important for shooting waterfalls, because what this does is it goes right over the viewfinder here. And if you don't have this covering that viewfinder and you do a long exposure, then there is a very good chance that your picture is going to have a nice purple line straight down the middle of the image. And you don't want that, because what happens is light gets in through the viewfinder and messes with the photo. So you have to make sure you have something covering it up. And when you got the camera, probably you got a piece like this, regardless of what camera you use, unless it has something built in. But it's good to keep this thing handy. And if you're going to be doing a really long exposure, I mean, if you're doing like 10-15 seconds, it's probably fine. But if you're doing more than 30 seconds, you definitely want to put this on, especially during the daytime, because it's going to make a really big difference if there's any other light coming in from behind. So I'm going to put this on and do some long exposures. Well, the sun is going down and it's time for me to head home, and it has been a long day. A really good day actually, but a long day. My legs are just worn out from all the hiking and everything that I've been doing today, but I got everything done that I needed to get done. I scouted out the locations for the next couple of weeks up here, so that should be very helpful. And actually I even got some good pictures, I think, so I'm pretty happy with this trip overall. It worked out really well, and it was just beautiful weather today. Absolutely gorgeous weather, so really cannot complain at all. But I thank you guys for coming along with me. Appreciate you watching and hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did, please make sure to subscribe so you can see my videos in the future as well. Until then guys, stay safe and happy shooting.